We back again with Cricbuzz Live. Just in a bit. Yes, my name is Tanay Tiwari. With me, Zaheer Khan, Bhattacharjya. We never left, really. Zimbabwe have won the toss and opted to bat first. Let's quickly have a look at both the playing 11. South Africa first, who are bowling first. And every time I see that playing 11, Zach, it's so power-packed. I mean, look at those names. Quinton de Kock, Temba Bavuma to open. Riley Rousseau, Aiden Markram, David Miller make their middle order. Then there's Tristan Stubbs, Wayne Parnell, bowlers Keshav Maharaj, Kagiso Rabada, Andrik Nokie, Lungi Ngidi. This is just wow.
A lot of power.
Yeah.
Good bowlers. So I think the overall balance, when you look at that side there, that playing 11, it's good. Plus the conditions also going to help.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Markram's style of batting, also you look at Rousseau's style of batting. They like ball coming onto the bat. They like the bounce. So I think these things will work in their favour. So if they are in form, I think this side is definitely going to be a side to be careful against. There's no doubt about that. And like Joyda was earlier mentioning, I think semi-final contestant from this group for sure. India has won the match against Pakistan. If South Africa beats Pakistan, then I think you can pretty much say that it's going to be easier for both the teams, India and South Africa, to be those two teams which will be going ahead. Even though it's early to say, but I think that's how it's looking since India-Pakistan game is out of the way.
Yeah, that is true. This looks like a very power-packed unit, especially those names. I mean, even Tristan Stubbs, for that matter. He's done that in T20 leagues across the world, and he's waiting to explode on the biggest stage.
Absolutely. And you look at the firepower out then, what has really helped them, again, I say that the most important person in this match is actually Boris Johnson.
Huh?
Because Boris Johnson was the British Prime Minister.
Okay.
The British Prime Minister. So he started Brexit. They left Europe. The moment they left Europe, there's a rule by which South African cricketers and Zimbabwe cricketers could play called call-pack.
Okay.
So all the call-pack rule was disbanded. So players like Riley Rousseau, who had given up playing for South Africa for long-term contracts, Wayne Parnell, okay?
Yeah.
Similarly, on the other side, Sean Irvine, Blessing Muzarabani, all of them have come back to play for their national sides. So 4 of the 21 players are playing today because of Boris Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
only Joyda can bring such tidbits, Zach. So we should say hashtag thank you Boris Johnson for this game?
Absolutely. Thank you, Boris. Thank you, Boris, for this match.
Thank you,
and he's very likely to have a man of the match from one of his guys.
Oh my God. Yes, so they must give half their prize money to Boris Johnson. Let's have a quick look at Zimbabwe's playing 11 as well. They've won the toss and they've opted to bat first. And thanks to Boris Johnson, you can see Sean Williams has come back in. Blessing Muzarabani has come back in. Then there's that one man, Zach, Sikandar Raza. He's done everything for them. I mean, so far in that round 1 as well, he was batting, he was bowling. With the ball, he was picking wickets. With the bat, he was scoring runs. In the field, he was getting them catches and runouts. He's their one-man army.
Yeah, Zimbabwe have done well to get to the second round.
Yeah.
And looking at that, Reza has played a big role in that. So they'll be hopeful from him for sure. But when you looking at the two sides, you'll have to see how this Zimbabwean batting lineup keep up with the likes of Rabadas and Ngidis and Notie, because that's serious pace you're talking about. Quality bowling attack, conditions favouring the fast bowlers. So that's something which we'll have to wait and see. It's not going to be easy. So you still know that maybe the result is going to be in South Africa's favour, but it's about how you compete. It's about how you carry yourself. So those are the things which we have to wait and see. With the more experience of certain players playing in different franchise leagues all over, I'm sure they will be getting better as the time progresses. But today's game, I think you're still going with the mindset that okay, South Africa should be having an easy day out there.
Yeah, it's damp, it's dark out there. The pitch we saw had a lot of resistance for the Pacers. So your return to the big stage into the Super 12 for Zimbabwe, and straight up you meet Andrik Nokie, Kagiso Rabada, Lungi Ngidi.
In conditions favourable. This is not Dubai. This is favourable conditions for them. No, this is quite a task. I think Zimbabwe has done amazingly. 2-3 years back, you thought Zimbabwe cricket had just lost it. It had fallen off a cliff. And somehow this new generation, Sean Irvine, Sean Williams, Ryan Bird, they've come back. The Pacers, Muzarabani, Chetare, all of them, Angarava, they have all given you value. They've been very good. Muzarabani was the second highest wicket taker, took 6 wickets in the stage. Sikandar has 136 runs in the first stage. He's dominated. He's been one of their top players. And it's more than just, these are just numbers for you. The way Zimbabwe has played as a team, this is the Zimbabwe we used to remember in the 80s and 90s, where they'd knock out in Australia somewhere, lots of upsets. They were always a great fielding team, and they were always a team who were up for upsets. And I think this team is that, as Zach has said, this is maybe too strong a South African team. But I really like the spirit with which Zimbabwe has played that round one so far.
Yeah, they've been very impressive, and the return of a lot of players because of #Thank you Boris Johnson has really aided them. But in terms of the South African attack as well, the one name that's missing there is Tabraiz Shamsi. But Keshav Maharaj, the way he's performed in recent times, Zach, I mean, you've got to give it to him. I mean, regardless of the conditions, especially we saw that in India as well, even when the conditions weren't very favourable, Keshav Maharaj just found a way to contain, if not pick wickets, contain the opposition, and that's really important.
And one important aspect when you're talking about Keshav Maharaj is he contributes with the bat.
Yeah.
So that just gives you that added advantage of having the batting depth and the kind of power which we have been talking about. When you know that the guys coming later also can bat, you have Rabada and Keshav Maharaj coming later after Stubbs, will give you that much freedom to play with. So I think that's the whole thought process. And Keshav Maharaj has been very, very good with understanding exactly how to play, how to contribute.
Yeah.
Tabraiz Shamsi, no doubt, has got that wicket-taking ability. You look at the strike rate; he's actually better than Keshav Maharaj. Yeah. But in T20 formats, you've seen that the overall package is always more attractive. So I think that's the reason. And if there are two spinners playing, then Shamsi will come into play. Yeah. But looking at the conditions, only one spinner playing, I think Maharaj is the right option to be picked in the playing 11.
Yeah, it's been a turbulent time for Tabraiz Shamsi as well, Joy. I mean, last year he was one of the highest wicket takers, and then suddenly for him to come back and give these kinds of figures, and look at those numbers, it's glaring.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not had a great, I mean, somewhere something has gone wrong, and it's not always. Sometimes it's to do with the places you're touring also. And places like India are very unforgiving when you play against them in these conditions. But I think the point of it is that Keshav Maharaj right now in a package, moment they were coming for the World Cup, and in India when they were picking, while playing in India where they were picking, Maharaj is their first bowler. Then you could make out that that's the way the South African team is already setting, because everyone playing tournaments just before or bilaterals just before this tournament were testing out their teams. Yeah. And at that point already it was clear that Keshav Maharaj, if there's and in Australia, other than Sydney, I don't see very many grounds where they're going to play two spin options.
Yeah.
So this is the ground. I mean, in Sydney they'll play it, but places like Hobart and all 65-meter ground, 67-meter boundaries. One spinner is maximum, and there Maharaj is ahead at this point in time.
There's a surprise for the two of you. Can you tell me what's happened on the first ball? The surprise is first ball hasn't been bowled because it's raining. It's raining in Hobart again. So we're going to have a start kind of a day here. So before we go, we must recap the joy factor for all of you, because most of you weren't up early. We were. Joyda, please take it away.
Absolutely. Here's my question once again. Which cricketer's second test wicket in 1992, which is a big hint, was that of a fellow coach of an IPL franchise in 2015? That means in 2015, the two of them together were as in the same IPL franchise in the coaching staff.
I was up very early in the morning. I read this question then, couldn't understand, read this question again, still can't figure it out. The answer is not Boris Johnson, I know.
Sure. Okay. I'm not giving away anything now.
Okay.
So they played together in 92.
They played against each other in 92.
Against each other.
Yeah, okay. And this one was the other's second test wicket. That means debut test match, second wicket.
Okay, give us a hint. Has Zach played with them?
Of course, Zach has played with them.
Okay.
Zach has played with, I think, both of them. No, I think Zach has played with both of them.
All right.
I mean, with or against, I mean.
That's okay. That we're not clarifying. We're just giving you a hint. I got you that hint. Please share your prize money with me when Joyda transfers it to your account. But right now, we will transfer our predictions into our account because your boy here is killing it with the predictions. Yeah, all the Diwali luck on day one. So if I play, I don't play cards, but if I played, I would have lost. But prediction games. How many are Zimbabwe getting? Stop-start kind of a day.
It's going to be tough for Zimbabwe, I think. Looking at the bowling attack, looking at the overhead conditions, there will be some help for the bowlers for sure is what we are hoping. I think 100, 110.
110, all right. All right.
If Zach's gone that low, I can't go much higher. So I'm going to go 128.
128. 110 is what you're saying, or 100? I'll pick the one that you don't.
110.
Okay.
110. I pick 100.
Okay, wait. This has to be for a 20-over game. Now you can't change the rules again if suppose it's an 18-over game or 17-over game.
No, that's not
part of the skills.
Okay,
that's
just
not.
like-
We'll have the DLS adjust those scores in terms of wickets and all, and we'll get back to you. But we'll get back at the end of the 10 overs mark with Cricbuzz Combox. That's all on Cricbuzz Live. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Joy, for joining in. Thank you to all of you as well. We'll see you super soon.